Do you remember the movie The Crawling Hand? Released in 1963, The Crawling Hand runs just over an hour, but somehow manages to squeeze in astronauts, alien possession, murder, teenage romance, and a severed hand that crawls around killing people. And if that sounds ridiculous, it's because it absolutely is. But somehow that's exactly what makes the movie memorable. Sitting at just 17% on the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, this isn't exactly considered a cinematic masterpiece. But if you love cheesy, old-school science fiction, sometimes that's half the fun. And I have a random core memory of watching this movie on Mystery Science Theater back in the day, so it's only fitting to talk about it here because I really love that show and all the movies that were on it. Welcome to the Rabbit Ears Rewind, the show where I theorize, deep dive, and analyze all the classic movies and TV shows that you loved when you were a kid from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and sometimes the 80s. And if you love classic sci-fi, horror movies, or wonderfully weird drive-in movies, hit that like button, subscribe and follow, and let's get back to the show. Oh, and before I go, please share. I need you to share with as many people as possible. The story begins with an American astronaut returning from a mission in space when something goes horribly wrong. He's exposed to a mysterious alien force and realizes whatever has infected him can't be allowed back on Earth. He radios Mission Control and begs them to destroy the capsule. And they do just that. Most of the spacecraft burns up during re-entry, except for one very important piece, his severed arm and hand, which crashes onto a California beach, because where else would a severed hand belong? The hand is discovered by college students and medical trainee Paul Lawrence, played by singer and actor Rod Lauren. Now, if most of us found a severed human hand lying on the beach, we'd probably call the police. Paul? Nah. Wraps it in his jacket, takes it home, slides it under his bed like a playboy. You know, like a completely normal person. Predictably, that decision doesn't work out very well for Paul. It turns out the hand's still alive, or at least alive enough. Controlled by some mysterious alien energy, it begins crawling around town, strangling unsuspected victims, while slowly taking control of Paul's mind. Whenever the alien influence takes over, Paul's personality changes, his eyes go dark, and he wanders around like he's staring at an entirely different horror movie. Meanwhile, the hand keeps disappearing, only to turn back up after another murder. It's one of those plots where everyone keeps making terrible decisions, but you can't stop watching to see what happens next. That almost reminds me of the Venom movie. It does kind of remind me of Venom. I didn't think about that. One of the biggest surprises in the cast is Alan Hale Jr. Yes, that's the skipper from Gilligan's Island himself. This actually came out a year before Gilligan's Island, so it's fun seeing him before he became forever associated with the role. Here, he plays the local sheriff, trying to make sense of a string of murders connected to, well, a killer alien hand. He's joined on screen by veteran Sir Cedric Hardwicke and Kent Taylor, who plays scientists racing to stop the extraterrestrial menace before more people die. Watching all these talented actors play this completely straight somehow makes the movie even better. Nobody questions the premise. Nobody winks at the audience. Everyone acts like a murderous space hand is just another Tuesday. The real star of the movie, of course, is the hand. Today's audience are spoiled by CGI monsters and AI and photorealistic visual effects, but back in '63, they had practical effects, fishing line, creative camera angles, and probably somebody lying just out of the camera frame pushing a fake hand across the floor like Thing from Addams Family. The effect hasn't exactly aged gracefully, but there's something charming about old school B-movies that relied more on creativity than budget. Sometimes imagination goes a very long way. The Crawling Hand also feels like a perfect Saturday afternoon or late night drive-in movie. It came from an era when theaters were packed with giant monsters, alien invasions, radioactive creatures, and every strange science fiction idea producers could dream up. It also became something of a cult favorite thanks to Mystery Science Theater 3000, which I mentioned earlier, which featured the film during the first season and introduced an entirely new generations to its wonderfully goofy premise. If you're wondering how the killer hand finally meets its end, let's just say the heroes don't save the day. A pack of junkyard dogs do. Only a 1960s B movie could pull off an ending like that. My final thoughts. The Crawling Hand isn't a forgotten masterpiece. It's not even what I'd call a particularly good movie. But it's a fantastic example of everything that made low-budget science fiction so much fun during the early 60s. The premise is completely bonkers. The performances are earnest at best. The skipper, Alan Hale Jr., steals every scene he's in, as he should. And despite the 70% Rotten Tomatoes audience score, it's the kind of movie that almost more entertaining today than it probably was when it first came out. Sometimes the best classic movies aren't the polished masterpieces. Sometimes they're the one we watch with a group of friends, laugh at the wild premises, and appreciate just how much heart went into making them. But what about you? Do you remember watching The Crawling Hand back in the day, or maybe in Mystery Science Theater? Did you discover it on late night television? What did I miss? What did I get wrong? I always forget something. And if you like these old school movies, me doing actors shout outs, all the TV series I've reviewed, hit that like and subscribe button. Check out the rest of my stuff. I'm on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram as well. Share with your friends. And like, comment, and subscribe and share. Don't forget to do those. Anyway, this is Rabbit Ears Rewind. Peace.